Racing Legends, the High-Octane Fight for Neo City's Future Part 2. The garage was buzzing with activity as Ace, Riley, and Mia prepared for their next move. The idol they had stolen from the museum sat on the workbench, its golden surface gleaming under the fluorescent lights. They knew it was the key to something much bigger, and they needed to act fast before Victor made his next move. Ace was under the hood of his GTR, fine-tuning the engine, when Mia's voice cut through the noise. "I've got something," she said, her eyes glued to her laptop screen. "There's a warehouse on the outskirts of the city. It's heavily guarded, and it's owned by one of Victor's shell companies. I think it's where he's planning his next move." Riley leaned over Mia's shoulder, studying the screen. "We need to get in there and find out what he's up to. But we can't do it alone." Ace nodded, wiping his hands on a rag. "I'll call in some favors. We need all the help we can get." That night, the crew gathered at the garage. Ace had called in some old friends, fellow racers and mechanics who owed him favors. Among them was Jax, a burly ex-military driver with a knack for getting into and out of tight spots, and Lila, a tech genius who could hack into any system. "All right, listen up," Ace said, addressing the group. "We're going to hit Victor's warehouse. We need to move fast and stay under the radar. Jax, you'll handle the getaway. Lila, you'll be our eyes and ears. Mia, Riley, and I will go in and get the intel." The plan was set, and the crew moved out. They arrived at the warehouse under the cover of darkness, parking their cars a few blocks away. Lila hacked into the security system, disabling the cameras and alarms. "You're clear," Lila's voice crackled through their earpieces. "But you've got a small window. Move fast." Ace, Riley, and Mia slipped through the shadows, making their way to the warehouse entrance. Jax stayed behind, ready to provide backup if needed. They reached the door and Ace picked the lock, easing it open. Inside, the warehouse was a maze of crates and machinery. The air was thick with the smell of oil and metal. They moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the vast space. "Over here," Mia whispered, pointing to a set of blueprints spread out on a table. "This looks like a plan for a heist. Victor's planning to hit a convoy transporting gold bars." Ace's eyes narrowed. "We need to stop him. But first, we need to get out of here." As they turned to leave, the sound of footsteps echoed through the warehouse. They ducked behind a stack of crates, peering through the gaps. A group of Victor's men entered, their voices low and tense. "Boss wants this place locked down," one of them said. "No one gets in or out without his say-so." Ace signaled to Mia and Riley, and they moved silently towards the exit. But just as they reached the door, a figure stepped out of the shadows. It was one of their own, Jake, a member of Ace's crew who had been with them since the beginning. "Jake?" Ace's voice was filled with disbelief. "What are you doing here?" Jake's expression was cold. "I'm sorry, Ace. But Victor made me an offer I couldn't refuse. You should have stayed out of this." Before Ace could react, Jake raised his weapon. The warehouse erupted into chaos as Victor's men closed in. Ace and Riley fought back, their movements a blur of speed and precision. Mia ducked behind a crate, firing off shots to cover their retreat. "Go, go, go!" Ace shouted, pushing Riley towards the exit. They burst through the door, sprinting towards the getaway car. Jax was already behind the wheel, the engine roaring to life. "Get in!" Jax yelled, and they dove into the car. The tires screeched as they sped away, bullets whizzing past them. As they raced through the city streets, Ace's mind was racing. Jake's betrayal had shaken him, but he knew they couldn't afford to dwell on it. They had to stop Victor, no matter the cost. Back at the garage, the crew regrouped. Ace's expression was grim as he addressed them. "We need to move fast. Victor's planning to hit the convoy tomorrow night. We can't let him get away with it. Riley nodded, her eyes filled with determination. We'll stop him. Together. The night was heavy with tension as Ace, Riley, and Mia prepared for their next move. The betrayal by Jake had left a bitter taste, but there was no time to dwell on it. Victor's plan to hit the gold convoy was imminent, and they needed to act fast. Ace gathered the crew at the garage, the atmosphere charged with determination. We know Victor's going after the convoy tonight, he said, his voice steady. We need to stop him and find out what he's really after. Jax, Lila, and the rest of the crew nodded in agreement. They were ready to face whatever came their way. Mia had managed to track the convoy's route, and they had a plan to intercept it. We'll split into 2 teams, Ace continued. Jax, Lila, and I will take the lead. Riley, Mia, and the rest of you will provide backup. We need to be quick and precise. The convoy was scheduled to pass through a remote stretch of highway on the outskirts of Neo City. The crew positioned themselves strategically, their cars hidden in the shadows. The night was eerily quiet, the only sound the distant hum of engines. Ace's heart pounded as he watched the convoy approach. 3 armored trucks, flanked by Victor's men in black SUVs. Here they come, he muttered into his earpiece. Everyone ready? Ready, came the replies from his crew. As the convoy drew closer, Ace and Jax revved their engines, the roar echoing through the night. They launched forward, their cars speeding towards the convoy. The element of surprise was on their side as they rammed into the lead SUV, sending it skidding off the road. Chaos erupted as Victor's men scrambled to respond. Ace and Jax weaved through the convoy, their cars moving with precision and speed. Lila hacked into the truck systems, disabling their engines and bringing them to a halt. Go, go, go! Ace shouted, leaping out of his car. He and Jax sprinted towards the trucks, their weapons drawn. Riley and Mia provided cover, their shots taking down Victor's men with deadly accuracy. The garage was a hive of activity as the crew prepared for the rescue mission. Mia had managed to track Ace's location to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Neo City. It was a known hideout for Victor's syndicate, heavily guarded and fortified. Riley paced back and forth, her mind racing with plans and contingencies. We need to move fast and hit hard, she said, her voice filled with determination. Victor won't expect us to come after him so soon. Jax nodded, loading his weapons. We'll need a distraction to draw his men away from the main building. Lila, can you hack into their security system? Lila's fingers flew over her laptop keyboard. Already on it. I'll disable the cameras and alarms, but you'll only have a small window to get in and out. Mia looked up from her screen, her expression serious. I've also reached out to some old contacts. We might have some unexpected allies joining us. Riley raised an eyebrow. Who? Before Mia could answer, the sound of engines roared outside the garage. A group of cars pulled up, and a tall, muscular man stepped out of the lead vehicle. He had a rugged look, with a scar running down his cheek and a confident swagger. Name's Marcus, he said, extending a hand to Riley. Mia called in a favor. We're here to help. Riley shook his hand, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Glad to have you on board. Let's get Ace back. The night was dark and silent as the crew approached Victor's hideout. They parked their cars a few blocks away, moving stealthily through the shadows. Lila had successfully hacked into the security system, and the cameras were down. All right, we're in, Lila's voice crackled through their earpieces. You've got 10 minutes before the system resets. Riley, Jax, and Marcus led the way, their movements swift and silent. They reached the warehouse entrance, where 2 of Victor's guards stood watch. Marcus took them out with quick, precise strikes, and they slipped inside. The warehouse was a maze of crates and machinery, dimly lit by flickering overhead lights. They moved cautiously, their senses on high alert. Riley's heart pounded as they approached the main office, where Ace was being held. "He's in there," Mia's voice guided them through the earpiece. "But be careful. Victor's got more men inside." Riley nodded, signaling to Jax and Marcus. They burst through the door, their weapons drawn. Inside, they found Ace, tied to a chair, bruised but conscious. Victor stood nearby, a sinister smile on his face. Well, Victor sneered. "I didn't expect you to come so soon. But it's too late. The idol is mine, and Neo City will be under my control." Riley's eyes blazed with fury. "Not if we have anything to say about it." A fierce battle erupted as Victor's men swarmed the room. Riley and Jax fought with relentless determination, their movements a blur of speed and precision. Marcus provided cover, his powerful strikes taking down enemies with ease. Amid the chaos, Riley reached Ace, cutting his bonds. "You okay?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. Ace nodded, wincing as he stood. "I'll be fine. Let's get out of here." They fought their way through the warehouse, the sound of gunfire and shouts echoing around them. Just as they reached the exit, Victor appeared, blocking their path. "This isn't over," Victor snarled, raising his weapon. Before he could fire, a shot rang out, and Victor fell to the ground, clutching his shoulder. Marcus lowered his gun, a satisfied smirk on his face. "Let's go." They burst through the exit, sprinting towards their cars. The night air was filled with the roar of engines as they sped away, leaving Victor's hideout behind. Back at the garage, the crew regrouped. Ace was battered but determined, his eyes filled with resolve. "We need to find that vault before Victor does. The idol is the key, and we can't let him get his hands on it." Riley nodded, her expression fierce. "We'll stop him. Together." Mia looked up from her laptop, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "I've found something. There's an old legend about a hidden vault beneath the city. If we can decipher the clues, we might be able to find it before Victor." Ace's jaw tightened. "Then let's get to work. We don't have much time." As they prepared for the next phase of their mission, the crew knew they were in for the fight of their lives. But they were ready. They would stop Victor, find the vault, and protect their city, no matter the cost.